Now, Brock beat Cena. That we saw that happened at WrestlePalooza. There has to be a reason. Now, there are a lot of people saying, yourself included, that this could be a one-off. This could be it. That Brock beat Cena. Now, Cena, he just put out on social media last night, how about me and AJ Styles, in one of my last 5 appearances. But they had Brock beat John Cena for the reason. Why? Brock Lesnar right now is the most hated man in the WWE. Nobody's going to be cheering Brock Lesnar because he tried to spoil John Cena's farewell.
Take out the word try.
He did. He did. Here in one of his last matches before he says goodbye, Brock Lesnar definitively beat John Cena. They had to have done that for a reason. Now, if it's not going to be John Cena putting somebody over, maybe their idea is for Brock Lesnar, who beat John Cena, to put somebody over. Bully, that has to be it, right? Has to be.
If you take Brock's history, okay? When Brock does something, it means something. It either means something for a moment in time that propels somebody onto bigger and better things, or it means something for Brock. Most of the time, Brock is doing something for somebody else. Look at what he did for Goldberg. Hey, we might joke around about Goldberg, but Brock Lesnar let Bill Goldberg decimate him in a matter of what? 93 seconds?
Yeah, it was quick.
93 seconds. Brock Lesnar lost in 93 seconds. In what world does that happen? It happens in the world of shock and awe. And Brock knew letting Bill do that to him would make Bill a bigger star. The Mafia kick heard round the world in the Royal Rumble. What does Drew McIntyre call his kick?
The Claymore.
Claymore heard round the world. Remember those people at the Royal Rumble, wherever the hell they were, when Drew hit that Claymore on Brock and eliminated Brock? Insane. So watch. I'm going to take that Royal Rumble and I'm going to apply it to what could possibly happen now. In that Royal Rumble, Brock destroyed the first, 12, 13, 14 guys.
Yeah.
They came in, they got their ass kicked, they got thrown over the top rope. Elimination after elimination until it seemed like there was no hope for anybody. And then Drew McIntyre shows up and claymores him over the top, and the place went banana. Holy shit, and Drew is on his way, right?
Yep.
What if they treat Brock's stint, this next stint here, the same way they treat the Rumble? Every single guy who gets in front of Brock Lesnar falls and falls hard, and it starts with John Cena. What if Brock just keeps showing up wherever he wants? Even if it's when John appears. F5 on this guy, F5 on this guy, F5 on this announcer, F5 on this woman, F5 on this catering person. Brock Lesnar is destroying the entire WWE one by one by one, just like he did in the Royal Rumble. And then Brock sits there one day and goes, Who? What are you going to do about it? Nobody can do a damn thing about me. I'm staying as long as I want. I'll take championships whenever I want. The lamentation of the women. What if Brock Lesnar turns into Conan the Barbarian, turns into Arnold, and then says, there's nobody out there who can do anything about it? And then Gunther's music hits. And that's why John Cena let Brock destroy him, because that's starting to propel Brock to where we need him to be, so Gunther can be the hero coming back.
And Bully, remember, I guess it was almost 2 years ago now when we spoke to Gunther. It was at our first Busties when we spoke to Gunther, and he mentioned that was the match that he wanted. And things went south. The match never happened. It could happen now. So we were kind of looking at it. who could benefit from John Cena's retirement? Well, who's going to benefit from John Cena's retirement is going to be through Brock Lesnar. John Cena was simply the funnel that got us to Brock Lesnar. That's going to get us to Gunther having
the conduit.
Yep. Yes. And we're going to see him, like you said, I feel, lay people out. He already started. This is going to, for all the fans that are just throwing up their hands and saying, oh my God, WrestlePalooza, why did they do this? That was, fuck this, and this was a mistake. I'm done. I'm not watching. There's a reason why, if you really think about it, there's a reason why they did what they did on Saturday night.
If you would ever get to sit in a room with Brock, you would be floored by his business acumen when it comes to pro wrestling. Brock knows exactly when and why to do things. He's amazing at it because he has protected himself for so long that he knows when he's giving of himself, it's going to really mean something. Brock is not going to do anything that doesn't mean anything. Brock will never miss a beat. What has Brock done I guess the thing with R-Truth the other night, I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that comedy bullshit happened. Who knows? But Brock does everything for a reason. And I believe this next reason will be for Gunther. Brock knows that he's not going to stick. Brock doesn't want to stick around forever. Brock is going to want to come back when the time is right and do certain things where he can make his money and somebody can benefit from it in the long run.
And listen, we've seen in the past, Bully, where...
And just because... I can hear people now going, yeah, well, what about Kofi? That's what Vince wanted. That's what Vince wanted. Go beat him in 20 seconds. That's what Vince wanted. So it's not like Brock's going to be able to say, no, Vince, I don't want to do that. If anybody's going to say... Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say we do know that if Brock's in, he's in. But if he's out, he's out. I'll use two examples. One you brought up with Drew McIntyre. He was in. How do you know? Watch Brock Lesnar when he takes that Claymore. I don't think there's ever been anyone that sold the Claymore better than Brock Lesnar did at that Royal Rumble. When he's not on board, go back and watch WrestleMania 32 with Dean Ambrose. Like, that was an example of, like, you could tell Brock Lesnar was like a zombie in that match. He did not want that to go down.
That's Texas Stadium, right?
Yeah, that was in front of 100,000 fans.
I was in the locker room with Ambrose on that day. You could smell the fear coming off of him. You could see he was dead man walking through the locker room because he knew what was about to happen, and he couldn't do a damn thing about it. And there's a reason why Ambrose got his ass handed to him that day. It's because Brock don't like him or his attitude or his lackadaisical ways towards wrestling. Why do I bring this up? Because Brock is going to do what's best for business. And destroying Ambrose in Brock's mind was what was best for business.
Yeah, I mean, that was around the time, too, of the infamous interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin, where Stone Cold was like, I talked, and I'm sure you did too. I talked to him about that interview. Like, Stone Cold, he's such a professional. Steve Austin is such a professional. He thought it was his fault. Like, it made him doubt himself as an interviewer because he's like, my God, this kid's giving me nothing. And I brought up that two interviews that I bring up when people ask me about the worst interview I've ever done in the over 16 years of Busted Open. One being, well, there's three. One is Holy Anderson, who just decimated me for 45 minutes. King Kong Bundy and Dean Ambrose. Like, I'll never forget the interview Doug and I did with Dean Ambrose before WrestleMania that year in Dallas. Like, it was, he just did not play. Like, it was like talking to a brick wall. I think that was the same experience that Stone Cold had at that time interviewing. Now, listen, that was over 10 years ago. But when you have an interview like that, where the person you're interviewing gives absolutely nothing, those things are memorable. And I think it gnawed at Paul Heyman as well, that interview that Dean Ambrose had with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I don't think it sat right with any of the boys because you're getting an opportunity to be on Steve's podcast, which is a big deal. Steve is not just going to sit there and just talk to anybody. Steve wants to talk to people that he's interested in talking to, who he thinks would make for a great, I don't want to say interview because Steve's not an interviewer, just somebody to shoot the shit with, shoot the breeze with. Back to Brock. I would venture to say, and I have not spoke to Brock about this, that Brock likes Gunther's wrestling style. From what I know of Brock, he probably looks at that guy and goes, yeah, I like watching his match. Brock probably doesn't watch wrestling, but when he does, he's watching a Gunther match. I'm sure Paul has smartened Brock up. I'm sure whoever Brock's talking to has smartened Brock up. Gunther is one of my favorite people to watch wrestle because of his psychology and his style. And when you watch Gunther, no physicality is wasted. I'm watching physicality the way it was meant to be in a pro wrestling ring. Everything means something, as opposed to a lot of shit I see where it's just thrown away and just done for the sake of doing it without any thought or registering or selling. Chops. Chops don't mean shit. But when Gunther chops, it means something.
Yep.
So yeah, if I had to sit back and go, why did John lose in such fashion? Why? What's Brock's motive? It's probably all for Gunther. Could we make a case that it was for Cody? Yeah, maybe, but we've been there. We've seen that, right?
Yeah, not for the championship, but we've seen Cody and Brock in a feud, but it was before WrestleMania 40 when Cody won the championship.
But if we're going to talk about something different and new and fresh and exciting and just the thought of it gets us fired up, Gunther and Brock or Brock and Cody? Which one are you picking?
I think the one that would make the most impact would be Brock. Would be Brock and Gunther.
And sure. Even you are able to put your fandom to the side for a second with Brock and Cody and say, I want to see these guys go at it. And Cena
go ahead. I'm sorry, really quick. Cena made Cody. Brock would make Gunther.
And I'm always talking about how you need the next level. You can only get to a certain level with the people that you have to work with. You can only rub yourself and each other to a certain level. Gunther has been in the ring with a lot of people that he has either made better or have made him better. It's time for Gunther to have an opportunity at that next stratosphere of person. And Brock is that guy. Brock is going to be able to tell Gunther, nope, we're not doing that because we're going to do this, and here's the reason why. And Gunther's going to go, oh, wow, I get it. I just learned something there. No matter how good Gunther is up until this point, he still don't know it all. None of us know it all, but we know what we know from our experiences with the people that are better than us.